What's the difference between power of attorney and an advance directive for health care?
Why are you asking me? Let's turn to someone who would know that. He's here to answer that question. Joining us now with the J.L. Williamson Law Group, Attorney Jeffrey Williamson from Statesboro and now from Savannah as well.
That's
Welcome.
right, I did open up a Savannah branch just so I could be closer to you guys.
Yeah, so you're in Savannah
One day a week.
on Fridays?
Every
right,
Friday.
Fridays?
Yeah.
And where are you in Savannah?
My office is off Commercial Drive,
Okay.
100 Commercial Court,
All right.
over there with all the other professional
Yeah.
offices. I told you this was something, you know.
We talked about last time you were in.
Yeah, well, I was going over the estate tax exclusions and the limits and the changes, and that's always the, you know, hot topics with estate planners. But you asked me, you know, did this apply to everybody? And obviously it wouldn't apply to everybody. So advanced directives and durable powers of attorney are something everyone needs. And you need to have good, solid documents, whether you've got, you know, whether your net worth is $1 or $100 million. A power of attorney is what controls your financial affairs. You're giving power to someone in the event you become incapacitated over just your finances. And an advance directive for health care is someone who will have say over your health care if you're incapacitated.
With the power of attorney, now, see, if you have, like, I only have one child, so I thought, you know, if we put him on all of our accounts, and if his name is on everything with us, then we still need the power of attorney?
Well, yes.
Good idea.
What if he needed to engage in a property transaction, transfer some
Okay.
property for you, or,
Okay.
or put assets in a trust? Obviously, he can't do that by just putting his name on your bank account.
But will the power of attorney then take the place of that?
No, it won't supersede it, but it'll just reinforce
Okay.
that or be there in addition to that.
Okay.
And if you haven't updated your power of attorney in quite some time, you probably need to look at it because Georgia just amended its trust code in 2010. So if you wanted to create a trust on behalf of someone, you're the attorney in fact on behalf of the principal, the person you're giving power to, you have to have that express language in the power of attorney to do that. And most standard forms that you log on to the, get off the web, LegalZoom or wherever may not have that language.
Right.
And it's certainly better to have it and not need it.
Now, the dangers of not setting this up is if something happens to you, your estate ends up in the courts, doesn't it?
Exactly. If you didn't have a power of attorney and God forbid you became incapacitated, your family would have to hire someone like me to go to court and file for guardianship. That's guardianship
Wow.
over the person and conservatorship over your assets. That's right.
So you can do all this up front and save all that. Now,
Yeah.
the health care directive, if you don't have one of those, a lot of times when you go, if you do have to go into a hospital or whatever, they'll ask you, and you can fill one out at that time, right? But is it better to go to an attorney and get it taken care of first?
It is, because the document is confusing. I used to serve on the board of the hospital authority in Pembroke, and so I got to know the chief attorney for St. Joe Candler. And a lot of his days were spent reviewing advance directives that were executed improperly, and so they were no good. So it is better to have an attorney walk you through the document, because most advance directives are statutory forms, they're state forms, and they're not, honestly, they're not very self-explanatory.
Okay.
The key is have somebody who knows this stuff explain it to you.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it's like you get what you pay for, and you need to have a good, power of attorney and advance directive.
And also, we're here on the border, so we have people who live in Georgia, people who live in South Carolina, and that can make a difference.
Well, South Carolina, we talked about that. South Carolina does have a reciprocity statute. So if you've executed one in South Carolina and you work here in Savannah, Georgia will normally recognize it. There's something called the full faith and credit clause of the Constitution. So you can, they don't stop you when you get to South Carolina if you got a driver's license. Say, no, you got to get a South Carolina driver's license to drive here. So there is, but there's not reciprocity with every state. So you need to check, like Oklahoma, for example, there is none.
Check with an expert. That's what we're saying here. And now you can check with Jeffrey Williamson because he is in Savannah on Fridays.
That's right.
Appreciate that.
Glad to be with you.
Appreciate it.
Enjoy it.
Thanks. Bringing silent movies to life with music next.